Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Lee and I am an independent distributor for Gel Moment Nail Polishes. I am here to show you for Try It Tuesday how to create this really fun New Year's nail art. So to get started, I have prepped my nail stick with this beautiful color. It's called Enchanted Night. I have it on my nails here. You can see how nice it looks on. And on top of it, I have put one coat of the Matter Effect. I think it looks really nice with the Enchanted Night, so I decided to go with that color. This nail art is fun because you can use any base color you like, and you can kind of change up the look, but the art would stay the same and you'd still get the same kind of effect, but you get to personalize it, which is really fun. Alright, so I started with 2 coats of Enchanted Night and 1 coat of Matter Effect, and now we're going to get started with some of our tools. Let me show you the ones I'm going to be using today. So I have a rounded brush, I have a very thin liner brush, I have a skinny dotter, and then I just have a small round brush as well. Okay, I'm going to start with the largest brush, and I'm going to begin by putting the clock face shape onto the nail. So I'm going to dip into Lovey Dovey, and I'm going to create a curved shape for the clock face. So I'm going to start about halfway down my nail on the right hand side, and I'm going to brush the Lovey Dovey over toward the left hand corner, and make a rounded shape. I'm going to pull the color down just to cover. And lovey-dovey is, when applied correctly, is a little bit sheer, so you're going to have to apply more than 1 coat. So be patient, take your time. You can see sometimes I rest my hand or my pinky on the matte surface to help me stabilize my hand and get a less shaky look to my painting. So just take your time. It takes a little practice. I know you can do it if you give it a shot. So, okay, so that's my first coat of Lovey Dovey. I'm going to put it underneath our LED lamp, and then I'll be back in a second to do a second coat. Okay, 45 seconds later, here's my clock face. Time for a second coat. So I'm just going to go right back over what I just painted. And I'm going to add a second coat of Lovey Dovey. We're looking for a pretty opaque look to the clock face, so I want to get enough of the Lovey Dovey over the Enchanted Night to cover it pretty well. Don't forget to cap the end of your nail with the Lovey Dovey. This will help the polish stay. You want your polish to stay on well. So use nice thin coats. Okay, ready to go back under the LED lamp for 45 seconds. Okay, as you can see, I have my second coat cured, and I'm going to go in one more time and really make this a nice opaque clock face. So just brush it on, try and get this last coat as smooth as possible. If for any reason you get the Lovey Dovey in a place where you don't want it, you can just wipe it away with a brush that has a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it, and it will take it right off. Always make your adjustments before you cure your polish, and that way it makes it nice and easy to clean up. Okay, that's going to be perfect. I'm going to put it back under the LED lamp, and while I'm away, I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to dip it into a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just in a little container, and wipe it off on a paper towel. Alright, so next up I'm going to create the gold band that's around the clock. Let me show you the original. See that gold band that goes around the clock face? That's what I'm going to put on next. So I'm going to take my small round brush, going to dip it into Guilty Soiree, and I'm going to very slowly and carefully draw a line around the clock face. Right where the lovey-dovey meets the enchanted night, I'm just going to put a thin line of Guilty Soiree. Take your time. Okay, if you have a shaky hand, just go slow. If you're good with a liner brush and you want to go ahead and use the liner brush for this, go right ahead. I like the slightly thicker line. I think it shows up nice against both colors, but it's totally up to you how you want this to show up on your nail. So I'm going to continue down along the clock face, all the way down to the corner of the nail, right where they both meet. And I'm going to finish up by wrapping the Guilty Soiree down around to cap off the other end of that nail there. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the polish, making sure I like the way it looks. Here I'm going to wrap it around this corner here. Right there. Okay, can you see where I did that? Looks nice. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm also going to add a small half circle of the same color, Guilty Soiree, right about here, kind of in the center of the clock. This is going to be like the top of a pocket watch, so I want to make it look like it has a place where the chain would hang from. Perfect. Okay, so you can see that. So it's really just two simple lines right now. One that meets where the lovey-dovey and the enchanted night are, and then the Guilty Soiree makes that little loop at the top. Okay, so I'm going to put my nail into the light for 45 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm going to take my Matter Effect and I'm going to make the lovey-dovey that I put on earlier, I'm going to give it a matte finish. So I'm just going to brush off a lot of the polish on the side of the bottle, and then I'm just going to carefully drag some Matter Effect just along where I have the lovey-dovey. Okay, don't forget to catch the tip of your nail. I think this is going to help us have the numbers stand out a little bit later. I think it gives it a nice look. Okay, so into the LED lamp it goes for 45 seconds. Okay, now you can take a look at that. See, it makes the Guilty Soiree really stand out when it's glittery, when the two colors behind it are matte. I really like that combo. Okay, so you'll notice that I've picked up my super thin liner brush from the Creativity Kit, and I've put some Raven's Kiss on it. Okay, I've wiped off a lot of it so there's no big blobs of polish, just a nice thin line. And I'm going to do two things with this. Actually, I'm going to do three things with this. First, I'm going to line the area where I have the Guilty Soiree. So the place where the Guilty Soiree meets Lovey-Dovey is going to get a very thin line of black polish. Okay, I'm going to go very slowly. And I'm just going to drag this liner brush right along where those two colors meet. Okay, take your time. If you're new to nail art, be kind to yourself. It's not going to come super easy, but if you practice, you'll be able to get nice thin lines by pushing very, very gently with your brush. Okay, the harder you push, the thicker the brush stroke gets. So if you want a nice thin line, you have to be very gentle. Okay, so I put a very thin line where Guilty Soiree meets Lovey-Dovey, and now I'm going to put in some numbers. If you are worried that you're going to smudge that line, go ahead and cure it underneath your LED lamp. I'm going to move ahead so that we don't have to have so many times of going through the light. Okay, so the number 12 on my clock is going to go right below the little loop that I made here. And I'm going to put the numbers on an angle facing this bottom right hand corner. So I'm going to put my 1 in. And then I'm going to very carefully put my 2 in. Kind of curve it around, back down. And then finish up my 2. Okay, again, these numbers are tiny. They take a lot of practice. Take your time. Go slow. Okay, I'm going to put a number 1 to the right of my 12. I just noticed there's a little spot here on the edge where I don't have my black line finished, so I'm just going to finish that up. See that there? And then I'm going to move back to the other side of the nail, and I'm going to put in an 11 on the left-hand side of the number 12. And remember, try and keep these angled a little bit toward the bottom right-hand corner of your nail. Okay, looks good. Okay, so I have 12, 1, 11, and I want to put the clock hands in. I want the clock to show that it's almost midnight. We're getting ready for New Year's here. So I'm going to have the small hand pointing towards the 12. It's just a straight line. And then at the top of the line, I'm going to put 2 little lines, one from the left, one from the right, to make it look like an arrow. See that there? Super cute. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a slightly longer line pointing up towards the 11. And I'm not going to have the lines touch here because they would really be connected somewhere off the nail. So I'm going to let them not touch. And then I'm going to put the small arrow, one on the left, one on the right. It's just 2 little lines there. Okay, so the nice thing about gel moment polish is that if you mess up, you can wipe it away and you can redo it. Luckily, I think this looks good, so I'm going to get it under the light before I smudge it. Into the LED lamp it goes. See you in 45 seconds. Okay, here we go. So you'll notice I picked up my skinny dotter. It's a very thin dotting tool. I like the way that this one has a nice small dot to it. I'm going to start embellishing the area around the clock face on top of the Enchanted Knight. And I'm going to do that by picking up some chandelier right on my dotting tool. Just pick up a little bit. I'm going to add a little party streamer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start dragging the shape of a curly Q ribbon. So I go down, I loop back up, drag a little polish with me, make a little loop, turn my nail, bring it down a little bit further, and then maybe just make a little squiggle of ribbon. Like that. Okay, so there's a little loop there. I'm going to actually make the top of the ribbon a little bit bigger. Play around with it. If you don't like the shape that you get the first time, get a little rubbing alcohol on a little paper towel, wipe it away, dry your nail, and then try again. Okay, so I like the way that that looks. It looks like a little party streamer. And then I'm going to add just a few random dots of confetti, again with the chandelier. I'm going to actually put a few dots of confetti over the clock face as well, kind of like it's raining down over your design. Put as many or as few as you like, and then cure. Alright, and now we're just on the final finishing touches. I've cleaned off my dotting tool. I'm going to dip it into Guilty Soiree, get a little bit of that color on there, and I'm going to add a few little dots of confetti. You can space them out, you can put them a few together. I'm putting a few here and there, maybe one up by where our streamer is. And the last little detail I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of the Guilty Soiree right over the Raven's Kiss. Hands on the clock and maybe drag a little bit down just to give them a little bling. And I think that looks amazing. Maybe one more dot of confetti, 1 or 2 more dots. Perfect. All right, so take a look at that. I'm going to head into the LED lamp. And after this cure, our New Year's nail will be finished. So I hope you've been enjoying our Try It Tuesday nail art tutorial. It's been fun for me to do it with you. I hope you try. Maybe you don't want to do Enchanted Night, but you'd like to do purples. I think Jasmine Cherry would be a nice base for this design. If you'd like to do a red, Red Rebel would look amazing. Green, I think a nice one would be an Emerald Envy. I like these dark, deep tones. I think they would make a great base for this design. All right, so if I was doing this on my nails, I would probably put this nail in the center, or on my ring finger if it was the only one I was doing. Also, you could do a few other accent nails. You could do a few more streamers, something like this. These two together would look amazing. My name is Jamie Lee, and I am an independent distributor for Gel Moment Polish. I hope you had a fun time on Try It Tuesday. Give it a try. I hope you experiment and play with your polish. Have a great day.